Hello, and welcome back to Coding for Real with Neil. I'm your host, and my name, of course, is Neil. This course is PHP for Real, where we take a look at PHP and we try and explain it using real-world scenarios and real-world objects. In this lesson, we're going to be taking a look at regular expressions in PHP, or as they're sometimes known, RegEx. Normally, I'll try and give you something to think about that relates to the real world, because I find it easier to remember things if they're applied to the real world. But for regular expressions, I can't actually think of one. So don't worry about thinking of anything during this lesson, just pay attention, because regular expressions can be a slightly abstract concept to try and get your head around. So I'd rather you just focus on the information that I'm about to give to you and really learn about what regular expressions are and how they work. If you haven't done so yet, please do hit the subscribe button down below. It really does help me to reach and teach more people, and it's my mission to give back to a community that was so amazing for me when I was learning to code. But please do hit the subscribe button. Anyway, enough of my babble. I'll see you in the lesson. Okay, first and foremost, what is a regular expression? Essentially, a regular expression is a bunch of characters or a string that forms a search query. And then when you search for particular data within a field of text, you use this search query to describe exactly what it is that you're looking for. Now, regular expressions, so they can be a single character, or they can be multiple characters. And most of the time, you are going to be searching for multiple characters. What regular expressions are commonly used for is, so say in a registration form where someone has to put in that email, you can use the standard built-in email registration, which will search for an @ symbol, or you can also use a regular expression to make sure that it has X number of characters between 0 and 9, A to Z, then an @ symbol, and then again any number of characters 0 to 9, A to Z, and then a dot, and then the com or the .au or whatever it is afterwards. But you would be using a regular expression to make sure that particular characters are used before the @ after the @ then the dot. And that's one example of what regular expressions are used for. Regular expressions have many different text search functions, but it also has text altering functions. So you could search for a particular word or a particular phrase, and then you can alter that word or that phrase. Now in PHP, regular expressions have three components. So the first component is what's known as a delimiter. And this is normally a /. But the delimiter can be anything that's not a space, a numerical value, a character, a /, anything like that. So the most common form of delimiter is the /. But if your search query contains /, it might be better to use the £, or something of that nature. As long as it's not a digit, a character, a /, or the space character, you can use anything as the delimiter. The second thing that a regular expression has is what's known as the pattern. And the pattern is just the search query, the string or the combination of characters that you are searching for. It could be anything. It could be a name, it could be an email address, it could be the @ symbol, it could be a number, anything like that. That's what the pattern is. And then the third thing that a regular expression has is what's known as the modifier. And the modifier is kind of, it will alter the text within your search pattern based on what modifier you use. And the most common one is a lowercase I, and this is the case sensitive modifier. It will modify everything within the pattern so that it's not case sensitive. If you don't use the I modifier, case becomes an issue. So you have to make sure that what you're searching for must match exactly, including case. Let's go into an example and I'll show you what I mean. Let me quickly show you the syntax of a regular expression. So what you do is you would set up a variable just like normal, and you'd set it to say name, and you'd set that equal to, then you would put in your double quotes and end the line. Then inside here, you would use the delimiter. So we put in the delimiter function. Then we would put in your pattern. So we would put in my name. You would then use the delimiter again, and you would then put in the modifier. So we would put in an I. So that is the syntax of a regular expression. And all we're doing is we're setting the regular expression of my name as name. And then we would use this name variable to search for any text containing my name. And then you could do different things with it based on that. And it's not going to be case sensitive because of the lowercase I after the second delimiter. That is the syntax of RegEx. And that's a very, very simple example. Let's do some examples of some functions of RegEx, just so you can see some of the different kinds. The first one that we're going to take a look at is the preg match function. And what this is going to do, this will return one if a match is found, and 0 if no match is found. Let's do an example and it'll make more sense. So let's set a string and set it to username, and let's put the username as my name. Okay, very simple stuff. Then what you would put here is you would put username, or let's put search for name, for example. And then in here is where you would put the regular expression that you're going to be using. In here, let's put an N as the regular expression, and we're not going to make it case sensitive. So what we've done here is we've just set up a username containing four characters, which spells my name. Then we've put in here a search for name, or let's change this to search for letter, because we're only searching for one letter. And then we've put in the regular expression containing the letter N, and it's not going to be case sensitive. Then what we do is we would use the preg_match function. So what you would do is you would just echo out, then you would put preg match, then it opens and closes parentheses, and you need to close the line. Then in here, this takes two parameters. First, it takes the pattern, and then it takes the subject. So the first thing is the pattern. So the pattern is search for letter. Then the subject, you see it's returning an error because it needs the subject. We put in username. And what this is going to do is it's going to search username for the pattern that is contained within this regular expression, saved in the search for letter regular expression. So this in the browser should return 1 because it will find an N. Let's have a look. So here we are over in Index of PHP course. We are going to go into lesson 12, and here we get a 1 because it has found an N. Let's change that N to a letter that isn't contained within my name. So back over here, let's change this to a W, and let's see what this returns in the browser. So back over in the browser, we refresh, and we get 0 because it hasn't found a W. Let's change it back to a lowercase n and remove the I and see what happens. So back over here, let's change this to a lowercase n. Let's remove the I and see what happens, because now it's going to search for a lowercase n. Back over in the browser, we refresh, and we get 0 again because it is now case sensitive. And that is the preg_match function. The next one I want to look at is what is known as preg replace. What this will do is this will replace all matches of a string or of a pattern, remember the pattern, within a searched string. Going to look in the string that we've set up. It's going to use the pattern that we've used as the regular expression, and then it's going to replace every instance that it finds of that inside of the pattern. Let's do an example. Let's set up a welcome message, and let's put in here, welcome to our site. Please enjoy your stay. Okay, just a very simple welcome message. Then we're going to set up a search pattern. So this is the regular expression, and inside here, we know how to set this up. We put in the double delimiter because we know we need the two delimiters. And then we're going to put in here, let's put in here site. So it's going to search for every instance of site within this string. Then we are going to echo, let's use preg replace. It's going to open and close the parentheses. We need to open and close the line. Now preg replace needs three things. It needs a pattern, a replacement, and a subject. So the first thing is the pattern. So we use the regular expression search pattern that we have set up, which is the search pattern. We then need a replacement. So what this is going to do is this is going to replace each instance of whatever the search pattern returns. It's going to replace each instance of it with whatever we put in here. So we're just going to put in website, and then we go comma. Then we need to put in the subject. So in here, we just put in welcome. So the preg replace, what it's going to do is it's going to search the subject that we have. And it's going to search for every instance of whatever we've put in the regular expression of our pattern. And it's going to replace it with whatever we have put inside the inverted commas. So this should return, welcome to our website. Please enjoy your stay. Let's have a look. There we are. Welcome to our website. Please enjoy your stay. And that is the preg replace function. All right, the next thing I want to look at is I want to look at some examples of patterns within regular expressions. So there's a few different kinds, and what we do with patterns is we use these square brackets. Okay, let me just comment this out so that it doesn't error. We use square brackets, and then inside of the square brackets, we can put 3 characters, for example. And what this does is this will search for any character from the options listed in the square brackets. So this is going to search for A or B or C. Okay, so the next one is square brackets, and we use that symbol. I don't know what that symbol is called. And then we would do ABC. And what this is going to do is this is going to search for any character not from the options. So it's going to search for everything other than ABC. Right? And then the last one that I want to give you an example of is if you use the dash. So we could do 0-9. And what this is going to do is this is going to search for any character within the range listed between 0 and 9, or whatever your left hand and your right hand one. It's going to search for any characters within that range. So this you could also write as A to C if you wanted to, and then it's going to search for ABC, or you could just put ABC, or if you wanted to search for A to Z, you would put A to Z, and that would search for any character within that range, including A and including Z. And that is a quick example of patterns within regular expressions. So the next thing I want to take a look at is what is known as meta-characters. Now, meta-characters are very simply just characters with a special meaning within the regular expression. And let's go through some examples. And the first one is the pipe symbol, which is shift and /. On my keyboard, it's above the enter. And what this does is this will search for any number of different patterns separated by the pipe symbol. So in the name example, if we wanted to search for a bunch of different letters, you would search for N, you would use the pipe symbol, E, use the pipe symbol, I, use the pipe symbol, and L. Okay? And what this would do is this would search for an N, an E, an I, and an L. You could then end the delimiter and use the I, and it's going to search for all of these in lowercase, and it's going to search everything that we tell it to, and it's going to look for these as separate entities, and it's going to return 1 if it finds either of these. That's what the pipe symbol does, is it searches for any number of different patterns separated by that, and these can be numbers, these can be words, anything you wanted. The next one is the full stop, and this is simply just going to search for just one occurrence of a character. So what you'll do is, in the example above, you would do N and you would do a dot. And that is just going to search for one occurrence of it, not every occurrence. So the next one is this symbol again. And what this searches for is search for a match at the beginning of a string. And similarly would be the $, and this will search for a match at the end of a string. So with some examples is we would do the delimiter and then that with a $, for example, and this one would be delimiter that and then an N delimiter. So what you're doing is you're searching for the N at the start of the pattern that you pass this into, and this one is you're searching for the N at the end of the pattern that you pass this into. I'm not going to go through all of these because there are so many of them. So what I'm going to move on to now is how to search for more than one of a character. So the first one is, for example, you would put in a letter. So we've been using N, so let's use N, and then you would put plus. This will match with any string containing at least one N. Okay, so this is going to search all of the strings within the pattern, and it's going to return all of those that contain at least one instance of the letter N. The next one would be N asterisk, and this will match with any string containing 0 or more instances of the letter N. Okay, so the difference is this one here will match any string containing at least one N. This one will match with any string containing 0 or more. And then the other one is N question mark. And what this will do, this will match any string with 0 or 1 instance of the letter N. So that's the 3 different kinds. If you use the plus symbol, it's going to return one or more. If you use the asterisk, it's going to return 0 or more. And if you use the question mark, it's going to return 0 or 1. And as I said, there are many of these, so I'm not going to go through all of them. I just wanted to give you an understanding of what a regular expression is and how to work with regular expressions. And I am going to be doing more of this later. I'm going to be giving you some more in-depth examples. This was just an introduction to regular expressions. I just wanted you to get your head around what they are, how they work, what they're used for, and then some of the important characters and some of the important metadata that you need to know when working with regular expressions. Guys, you've made it to the end of this lesson. And this, as I said, was just an introduction to regular expressions because it is quite an abstract concept and I didn't want to bombard you with too much information. This course is aimed at beginners, so I just wanted to give you an overall idea of what a regular expression is, and then we can expand on that down the track when we're looking at form handling and all of that stuff. So that's what this lesson was meant to be, was just an introduction and a look at some of the core concepts of regular expressions and how they work. So thank you so much for watching this lesson until the end. I hope you've learned a lot about regular expressions. If you haven't done so yet, please do hit the subscribe button. I think it's over here. please do hit that subscribe button. It really does help me to reach and teach more people. These videos, of course, do take time to create, so it really does help me with the YouTube algorithm to reach more people. So thank you so much for watching. In the next lesson, we're going to start taking a look at forms. So we're going to break the forms down into a few sections. We're going to be looking at form handling, form validation, that kind of stuff, but we're going to break it down into a few lessons. But from the next lesson is when we're going to start looking into forms. So all of the knowledge you've learned up until this point is all going to start coming together, and you're going to start seeing how these things are used in back-end web development. So again, thank you so much for watching this lesson, and I'll see you next week.